And welcome to episode 9 of the Box Nostalgia Podcast with PoNGa and Beerski. What is up, PoNGa?
Yeah, as always, super excited to record. I think out of all the topics that we're ever going to talk about on this channel, I think the tier list today might be the one I'm most excited for. It plays a very big role in my life. So I'm super excited to get going. Doing really well myself. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited that tier list is tickling your fancy. I'm looking forward to your input on a lot of those games because I know that you know them a little more, intimately than I do. Doing pretty good. I've been listening like crazy on eBay. I got PSA subs coming back. I'm really putting my head to the grindstone here. So just trying to move a little bit ahead in the hobby. But yeah, excited for today's episode. Excited for everyone that's here. Thank you very much for being here. If you're new, hit the like, subscribe button, notifications on, whatever you want to do. As always, if anyone has any comments, suggestions, or anything about the podcast or anything, please leave them below, and we will tackle them for you. But we're gonna get into the first segment, and that is item of the week. And I'm gonna let you take it off, PoNGa.
Yeah. So this item of the week, as I say it in every episode, I have to at this point. It's like a nervous tick. Sealed item, and it's probably like the first like larger purchase I ever made when I got back into Pokemon. So these were actually still available on the Pokemon Center, surprisingly, for the cheap price of $80. And back then, when you first start, $80 feels like you're flushing it down the drain. So in hindsight, I wish I bought a few more. I haven't sold them to this day, but it is the Shining Legends Super Premium Collection. So it has, you could see here, the Shining Celebi, the Shining Lugia, which obviously the best one. It has the Rainbow Ho-Oh, and then a holographic promo Pikachu. It also does contain 10 Shining Legends packs. Probably the coolest playmat besides maybe the Hidden Fates one. I like this one better than the Hidden Fates one. But then it also has some like boxes to hold the cards or decks. And then like an art book as well. So it was like the making of Shining Legends. So an art book of there. And then it has that cool Ho-Oh statue on there as well, which obviously isn't as big as like the Rayquaza one from the Hidden Fates premium collection, but it's smaller and doesn't break every time you move it. So it's always a positive there. But yeah, one of the coolest items I've ever had in my collection. I have I think 2 of them. And I don't know that I'll ever sell them, to be completely honest with you. Shining Legends is like it holds a super special place in my heart. One of the first sets I opened like back in, this was before I got back into the hobby, was my girlfriend at the time bought me a Shining Legends ETB, and I pulled them YouTube. So it just kind of,
nice.
It holds that special place. And it was like some of the first big purchases, because like Shining Legends was still in stock at like the beginning of 2020. They were restocking the ETBs on Pokemon Center, all that kind of stuff. So just a super cool item that I'm really, really happy I still have.
Yeah, that's wild. That's very cool. What's your favorite card from Shining Legends?
Oh, man. Well, so I'm going to lump in the Japanese version as well, because I think the Shining Lugia in Japan or Japanese just looks way better without the yellow border. Just like at the style of the card, I think it just kind of flows a little better. But like from Shining Legends itself, I mean, it probably is the Mewtwo, right? Like the Mewtwo card. I really like the Shining Rayquaza. I like all the Shinings, to be completely honest with you, even Volcanion, which is kind of weird. I've been meaning to pick them up in PSA 10s because they are pretty cheap, most of them. I just never got to it. So maybe one day I'll get to it. But maybe if I could get them at like a CollectCon at like 70 or 80%, I'll probably keep them. But
New Jersey's coming up.
Yeah, bring them to me. I'll cash you out at probably like 80% cash for those. But yeah,
bring
probably
this man your trades.
Probably the Mewtwo, which is funny because the Mewtwo I pulled on the back of the card. I don't know if you're aware of like Shining Legends cards, but like the texturing that Mewtwo specifically has, like you would used to see these like white dots on the back, like the texturing going through the card. So mine kind of has some of that. And then actually like on the back of the card where it says Pokemon, the P has like a holographic part of it on the upper portion, which is really weird. And then in the middle of Pokemon, I think on the E, there's like a white like stain on the card that's like kind of translucent or transparent a little bit, like the white of it. So it's kind of weird.
It's an error card that should be sent to DGC for encapsulation.
Yeah, I mean it's
a little something.
Yeah,
they'll definitely put it in plastic.
It's not damage I did. You could tell it's like manufacturing defect, but that's super cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right. My item of the week, a little different than Pokemon, and everyone knows my affinity for the Legos, but it is the limited edition 4 set of Madam Hooch, Professor Slughorn, Dolores Umbridge, and then my main man Snape in oh man, what's his name? Neville Longbottom's grandmother's robes, which is hysterical. This is part of the 2018 Bricktober promotion. It's a Toys R Us exclusive. I picked this up a couple years. It's actually pretty cheap considering what it is. I actually would like to get a couple more of these. It's surprising how expensive some of the Lego stuff is, especially sealed. Even built Legos, if you have all, like every Lego set I've ever built, I have the box still, the instructions, and they're upstairs in my like super dry attic, or just sit up there and not get messed up.
Smart man.
Yeah, it's just wild. Like, so I hoard boxes. My wife all the time wants me to get rid of it, and it's only boxes. Like, I have my Xbox sitting behind me still. Like, I have boxes for everything. And she, like, for years, like, why do you keep the boxes? You never know when you're gonna need the box. And I've used the boxes more often than I haven't.
Real quick, I got a funny story about that because I think it was like after my wife and I were moved out, or I moved out of my parents' house. We were like cleaning up my old bedroom because like obviously I left stuff there, and behind like one of my dressers that like had my TV on it, I had like all old gaming system boxes behind there, and they convinced me to throw them away after I kept them for like, I don't know, 10 15 years. The one I actually kept was a 3DS, which upped the value of my 3DS by like $300.
It's outrageous what a box will do, especially in the collector's sphere. Like, so I mean, I one of my other item of the weeks was that Lego Harry Potter mini like castle that was like, I don't know, 6,000 pieces, whatever it was. Like that, I could break it down and sell it in the box and sell it for almost what it is MSRP. It's insane. So like they just hold their value so well. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Lego Harry Potter stuff. I just like this because my favorite character from, well, my favorite professor from like the movies is Slughorn. I think he's hysterical in that, and it's just fun seeing like, I don't know, Snape in that and Dolores. So that's my item of the week. There'll be more Lego Harry Potter stuff for your viewing pleasure future weeks. All right, we're gonna go to our next. I think we're just gonna get this built right up. Let's go to the tier list. We're gonna do our tier list this week, and we are going to do Call of Duty games.
Yes, sir.
PoNGa's big into the Call of Duty competitive space. So looking forward to hearing his takes on a lot of these. I know he has way more in-depth knowledge of these games than I do. I was just a filthy casual. Played a little bit of multiplayer, usually finish the single player campaign, but not recently. The past couple I haven't finished the campaign, just kind of played not Black Ops, Battle Royale and stuff like that. So I'm gonna let
so I just want to put out there, like, one, I don't think we're really factoring like the Battle Royale modes like Blackout or Warzone, because I kind of think of that as like its own entity, and like if we do a tier list, it'll probably be like a Battle Royale tier list, right? And then I also want to say most of these from my perspective are mostly surrounding multiplayer. I played like the early campaigns, like probably up to like Advanced Warfare or something like that, but this kind of tier list is very tough for me because, like you mentioned, I'm really big into competitive Call of Duty, and so what makes a good competitive game versus what makes like a fun game to play casually are very, very different. And so I think like a lot of the pros have like specific games that are way more competitive than others, and so I'm going to factor that into some of my choices and where I place them. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching competitive Call of Duty since basically its inception. I still watch it to this day. There's a tournament this weekend. I know when I'm visiting you in Jersey is the Call of Duty Championships, so I'll wrinkle a little bit of that info in there as well. But yeah, just know that the way I'm ranking these is very complex. Some of them I'm going to go more nostalgic based on how they're my favorite, and some of them I'm just going to weigh as like a whole rather than just my opinion. So should be fun.
All right. So I am going to go completely opposite than him. It's all nostalgia based for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I played a lot of the Call of Duties. I'd say I really played up to Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. Some of the games in there I did miss. I know little about them. A little about them, not little about them. But yeah, so I'm going to let PoNGa take this away. I'm going to let him choose his first game. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty here.
Oh man, so this is tough. What do I want to start with? There's so many. So we basically started at the first console version of Call of Duty, which was Finest Hour. I know there's a PC version that kind of predates that, so we'll include that in there. But I'm gonna probably start with maybe the worst Call of Duty ever. So Call of Duty 3, I don't have that big of memories on, but I will say it's like known to be like the worst. You could see 1, it's rated T, which changes when it goes to Call of Duty 4, I think. But I remember when this game came out, no one played it. Everyone kept playing Call of Duty 2 until COD 4 came out. I specifically remember like this big desert map in the multiplayer game, but it just was like buggy. It didn't play well. Like I said, I didn't play it all that much, so I can't necessarily put it in Y tier, but I think it's going to be a D tier for me.
Okay. So if I remember correctly, and Call of Duty is still known to do this. They like doing the every year release deal.
Yeah.
So when you have a good game and then you release a turd game, and then in a year there's going to be another game come out.
Yeah.
You're going to usually skip a generation. I do this because I know the cycle of how Activision does multiple developers working on the games. They have a couple year cycle, but every year a new one comes out, and then they recycle and go and make another game. So I think this just was one of those games that got shuffled under the rug because it was like the last of that generation of games too, like Call of Duty before like Modern Warfare came out. Like the World War II horse had been beaten to death at this point in time in the video game sphere. Like there was a ton of World War II stuff coming out because Call of Duty became such just like phenomenon. And that people were playing. So I do feel like PoNGa said, like this is probably the worst Call of Duty, one of the worst ones. I didn't play it, skipped over it. I'm pretty sure I was working at GameStop at the time too. It was just more of the same. It felt very repetitive of what you were playing already. Not much in the way of like innovation, very stale. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to also give it a D.
All right. What do you want to go with for your first choice?
All right. Let's go. So we'll just go to the other side of the coin. Let's go Call of Duty 1.
All right.
So I can talk all day about Call of Duty 1. I talk about nostalgia. Call of Duty 1, like I'm a very big World War II history buff. Yeah. It's because of Call of Duty on the PC. I don't know what it was, why. I was a kid when this came out. I couldn't have been more than 13 years old when Call of Duty came out. When you didn't have to have a monster computer to play the computer games, I was just playing it. Something about, storming beaches and being on the Volga River in Russia and getting to the beach and having the commandant give you a rifle with no ammunition and then like if you retreated, you would get killed. Like there was just like so crazy. The storyline was all right enough to like make me want to like delve into like World War II history, and that's like really what started it for me. Then like because this was all like around the time of like Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers was coming out not too long after this, so it was just like a World War II like explosion of like pop culture for whatever reason. And the game, the multiplayer, I still remember just laying in Barku Manor, I think it's called, and laying down in a mortar hole and just hitting tapping people with the M1 Garand like across the map, and it was just so satisfying like to do it, and it's just like it was just such a fun game.
The sound of clunk clunk,
yeah, clunk, ting. It was so like it was so good. That's quintessential Call of Duty for me. Don't ever go back and play it though.
Yeah.
Just so brutal to play now, like, and it felt so smooth then, and it was awesome. But like, I think they came out with a Call of Duty port a couple of years ago. It's like a remastered Call of Duty, and I started playing through it, and it was just not good at all. So yeah, don't hurt yourself by trying to go back and play it again. It was awesome when it came out. I'm gonna definitely give that game. It's an A tier game for me. Just because,
Wow.
yeah, dude, like just from nostalgic, like you're gonna be very much on the competitive, so I'm gonna try and tamper that down a little bit with just nostalgia here. Like that game, I mean, it spawned all of this, and I think when we do these tier lists, we don't give the like the progenitor of it all like what it needs and like the props it deserves. So I'm trying to do that here. Like that game spawned all these games. That game spawned the retort from EA with Battlefield. This game, you know what I mean? Like Battlefield came out because of Call of Duty, and EA was like, shit, we're behind the 8 ball here. Look at all the money these guys are making. So like when you have one game that can change, it literally changed the landscape of video gaming. Like it definitely changed the landscape of video gaming in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I remember getting this game for Christmas for my aunt, and it was like the only game I wanted at the time. And I think I only played like the campaign, but it was like, I mean, from what I remember, right, I was pretty young when this game came out, but it was, I mean, everything you said about it, like it was just like it changed everything, sort of thing, right? I don't know if I could put it in A though. I think I'd probably be B because of what you said.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think because you tend to be more multiplayer kind of guy, and I really only played the single player. I can't rate it as high as some of the other ones, but yeah, for sure, like the historical significance of it is huge. So I actually totally get why you put it in A, especially like, I mean, you were a little older back then, right? So than I was, so like you probably have a little more playtime probably on those ones, but yeah, it's
yeah, like this is like pre-voice chat, people. Like when you voice chatted in this game, you needed like Roger Wilco or like stuff like that to be able to talk, like programs like that. Like you were just like typing up a storm. Like the shit you would see in those chats were wild. So like for sure.
All right. Maybe we should do one that's a little more modern. I'll go with Modern Warfare 2, the one that came out, 2022, right? So the second Modern Warfare 2.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just not a good game.
Another filler game, a year cycle game. That's what it was.
Yeah, so it takes like everything I hate about Call of Duty, like the tac sprinting, slide canceling, and made it even worse. You would legitimately die, and I'm pretty good at Call of Duty. Like you can't like cross any open area. Like you just die so quickly. And like the way the settings are now with Call of Duty, like you have dynamic aim response and all that kind of stuff that like makes it way easier to aim. So like when you just get zapped across the map and like it just makes it like not fun at times. From like the competitive side too, I think this is like one of the least liked Call of Duties ever. I think the maps were actually a lot better than some of the other recent games, but everything like was overpowered in multiplayer to the point where like the pros had to basically get rid of like almost everything in the game and not play with it. And when I played the multiplayer version of the game, I only played Shipment. Like that's the only thing I could play is the Shipment 24/7 playlist. I did not have fun on any of the other maps.
And that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I honestly think this is my least favorite Call of Duty, but besides Call of Duty 3. So it's about on par with me. So I'd probably put it in D tier.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just not a good game. Well, in my opinion, it's not a good game.
So I think it's to your point, and I know we like said that it wasn't like anything to do with this, like this tier list, but having the battle royale, I think ruined this game.
Well, that's since Modern Warfare came out, the battle royales ruined the games. But that's
digress. Well, no, that's what I mean. I think because I know what you're saying. Like the games were definitely guns and everything was tuned for battle royale and all of that. And like I know you were saying that to me, and like I played up until recently battle royale quite a bit. It's just unplayable for me anymore. I don't have the time.
Can we just since I think Modern Warfare, maybe that's wrong. Someone will correct me, but so they have like the seasons of the battle pass, which I get it. Like they need to generate money, whatever. That's not what I'm
More
mad
money.
about. Like if you play enough, you could actually like get enough points to unlock the next battle pass. So like you really only really buy the first one, and then as long as you complete it, like you unlock the next one for free, basically. Why am I limited to how many times I could level up for each season? Like so they don't have like the normal prestige system, right? Like season 1, you could go up to like level 150 or 250, whatever it is, and then you just stops. And then the next season comes out and they added more levels. And it's like part of the reason why old Call of Duties were so good is like the rank up system. Like you always felt like you were achieving something or you were working towards something, right? Like, if it's 10 prestiges, like you hit that prestige button and you lose everything, right? You have to unlock everything again.
Yeah.
You know what to prioritize while you're leveling up. You know what you want to, like the attachments and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like these newer Call of Duties, like there's 75 attachments for every single category. And it's just like, yeah, I'll stop.
No, it's all right. I want you to vent here. You're the Call of Duty expert here. I'm just a fly on the wall for most of this. Like it, and the attachment things, absolutely, it's outrageous, especially when people play with this. Everyone has the same gun. There's no like I like this gun more and I can learn how to play with it. As soon as there's meta in the game, like it's just that gun. That's it. It's all I'm going to use. There's no countering that gun. It's ridiculous. Like it made the game unplayable for a while. I remember they did a patch. I think it was during Modern Warfare 2, right after Cold War, and it was going into the Modern Warfare 2, and it made the game super playable. It was so fun, and then they patched it again and just ruined it. It was like people were having too much fun. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't play. It was all like most of this is all battle royale for me. I didn't play a lot of multiplayer because I don't like just spawning and dying. A lot of that, I feel like that happens a lot in the Call of Duty multiplayer maps, like Shipment 24/7, like you spawn and die. Rust, spawn and die, shit like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I also suck. So that's all I could say. That's all I
You're
can
not
say.
that bad.
Not that bad. So
actually, I don't know that we played Call of Duty. We played Halo and X Defiant. But
X Defiant, yeah. So
when Black Ops 6 comes out, you're gonna play with me.
Well, I'll play Black Ops 6. I liked playing the old Call
Treyarch's
of Duty.
the saviors.
All right, I'll give it a D with you because I don't know much more than that they just destroyed Battle Royale for me. Like it was so good when it came out in Modern Warfare, and then they slowly turded it up.
Yeah.
They polished the turd with more turd.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I think if I'm thinking of the right game, let's go Modern Warfare.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
So this is no English, correct? Or no Russian, if I'm not mistaken,
is
right?
It COD 4 or was that Modern Warfare 2?
Was it 2? It may have been 2.
Or is it? Yeah, that was Modern Warfare 2.
Go to Modern Warfare 2. Pull 4 off.
Wait, was it? Yeah, it's Modern Warfare 2.
All right, yeah, go to 2. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. It's hard to remember. It's
hard to remember. So I will say that there was no more. Store manager GameStop at the time, we were accepting, tons and tons and tons of pre-orders for this game. This is at a time. So like, I think when the Modern Warfare series came out, it changed a whole bunch of like stuff in people's minds about Call of Duty. It was super awesome. Then they kind of went back to World War II again. And people are like, what the hell is going on? And then Modern Warfare 2 came back out, and Modern Warfare 2 was so good. I remember playing the no Russian map that night when I got home from work with that game. And I remember just getting up, leaving my room, standing on my outside porch, and I was like, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen in a video game before in my life.
Yeah.
It was wild, above all expectations. They definitely did not take the coward's way out of that. They made it as visceral as possible. Obviously, this is all going on during, not very early after 9/11, but this is all like in the, following years of that. So there's a lot of terrorism stuff in it. And just like that one, it's called, I want everyone to look it up. It's called No Russian is the name of the map. And even when you log in, they ask you, you could skip that specific mission because it doesn't have anything to do really with the game other than set it up for you. It's wild, dude. Like, you don't see civilians get killed in video games. Well, you were killing civilians in this scene. It's just like intense. So I think for that alone, like, the multiplayer is also fantastic. Like PoNGa said, old school prestige system. I was always a coward and didn't want to prestige and lose everything. So I would do it like once or twice. Yeah, I would just like, listen, like, I played so many different games, though. It wasn't just like, I didn't just like hook on the Call of Duty. I would play so many other different things. Like, I think Halo 3 was out around this time. So playing a lot of Halo 3 and stuff. But the single player, I think they dropped a nuke in this game too. I think your character dies from a nuclear blast in this game as well.
Yeah,
which is wild. Like you're in a desert city and then you watch a nuke go off and your guy just like starts dying of radiation poisoning. It was a very visceral game. And I think when we talked about this before we got live tonight or started recording this, that people used to look back and think Infinity Ward was like the end all be all of Call of Duty. And I think this is why, like stuff like this, like they did awesome stuff with their games. They lost it. Absolutely. They lost it. Studios get big, studios break up, it happens, whatnot. But I think for like games like this, moments like that in games specifically is what make this game, awesome. This is going to be another, oh man, just from that, I'm going to make it, oh man, this is tight. Because I like the fact that they went there. Like that's such a big thing for me. Like pushing the boundaries a little bit. I'm gonna put it between A and S. Like it's
that's
not
fair. Yeah,
it's not quite S tier for me, and I don't know if I have a Call of Duty that's S tier. I might have one, but it's not for reasons that we're gonna put here because I am a battle royale person. But I'm gonna put it between A and S. A plus.
So this one's tough for me. So you mentioned it, right? Like Infinity Ward was kind of like the more premium developer, I'll say, back in the day, right? But I was always a huge fan of Treyarch games. Modern Warfare games always felt like what I was explaining with Modern Warfare 2, where like you almost just like we're not talking about it now, but like COD 4, right? Like the M16, like you kill people in one burst, right? Like you just die super quickly. And Modern Warfare 2 was very like that. Like there was a lot of assault rifles that basically had no recoil and were very easy to shoot long range. I don't know. So like the game that came before this, I played most of Modern Warfare 2's lifespan after Modern Warfare 2 came out. With that said, this is one of my more favorite Infinity Ward titles. I don't know. It always felt like Treyarch games, let's say, back in the day, you used to judge how good you were on KD, right?
Yeah.
Treyarch games, I'd have like a 3-4 KD, like just dominating. And then like I'd go to Infinity Ward games and it'd be like half of that for whatever reason. It was just probably how the style of the game played and how my play style just didn't suit at the Infinity Ward titles as much. Man, I don't know how I want to rate this. So I think most people probably have this in ARS. This is like one of like the OG.
I think this is the quintessential Call of Duty game.
Well, that and COD 4 probably, right?
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as those people. I'm probably somewhere in like the B to A range. You have it in A plus, so I'll put it in B plus. So then we just average out to A. How about that? That sound good?
That. I think that sounds good.
It's a very good game. Like I wish I could go back and like have the masses play it so I could get like a better opinion of it. But like when we get to another title, I'll kind of explain why I feel the way I do about this game when we talk about what World at War. So
and that another great game. So I have comments about that too.
Let's do it.
Oh, sweet. All right.
So perfect. I'll start because
lay it on us because you've been talking to me about this being your favorite game for months now.
It's funny because this is like probably a lot of people's least favorite game, and a lot of people skip this game to just play COD 4 that came before it. I originally had this game on PlayStation 3, so I don't remember if it was on this podcast I told the story, but I convinced my parents back in the day. Best Buy had a deal where they bought like a 50 or 55-inch TV, a Sony TV, and they would give you a PS3 with it.
Yes.
So I convinced my parents to get that. Obviously got Call of Duty the day of release. Didn't go to school that day. I think I had like a doctor's appointment or something. And I remember like the first day I was playing, I had a 29 kill streak, thought I was the greatest player of all time. Eventually, like all my friends were on 360. Most of my friends were on 360. And so I eventually went and bought a 360. This game alone, like headquarters, like I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80 days of playing time. I don't know, somewhere like
That's
tens
wild.
of days. I remember specifically my one friend had like 100,000 kills, like way up there on the leaderboards. This game, like Courtyard, Dome, the MP40 dual mags.
The dual mags.
Dude, so there was like back
Bouncing
in the day,
Betties.
yeah, so okay, back in the day, I used to be like playing like tournaments and stuff in this game, and like I was basically like one of the best headquarters players in the world, and like you can't argue with that. Like I beat everyone. There was like how do I explain it? Like you used to just be able to like when you were better than people at this game, like they couldn't kill you. Like there was a way you could like break the camera to where like you would snake on the ground, so you would like literally like be flat on the ground moving across. Like you used to be able to like lay down and sprint at a perfect like click the buttons perfectly to where like you were basically like slithering around the floor and the people couldn't hit you. And I was able to do that really well. And then like the MP40, like if you had if you had steady aim, it's a movement mechanic, man. And then if you had steady aim, you used to be able to like drop shots like with steady aim and just like kill people. It was, man, I don't even know what.
Dude, speechless about it. Nostalgia overload.
And like the thing is like I feel like a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, which like definitely hurts because like I feel like a lot of people just didn't give this game a fair shot. Like if you're around our age, you probably were obsessed with COD 4. And like you didn't really even give this game a chance, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, to your point, like it's all the World War stuff that always holds a special place in my heart. Like I love World War 1 and 2. I shouldn't say special place in my heart. I just love that period of time, like the historical stuff about it. God, dude, this game, I don't even, I'm like stuttering. It's like the game I've played most in my life, and it's not even close. It's just probably my favorite game of all time.
That's awesome.
So it's S tier.
Right on. So,
and if you disagree, like, don't even like comment, because like I'll just ban you from the channel. Because like I don't even like you could disagree. I just don't even want to see it. Like just don't even put your comment out there. Like I don't want to see it.
Please put your comments below about why this is the worst Call of Duty game of all time.
This is the game that the people that are watching this have probably played and watched more Call of Duty or as much Call of Duty as anyone. This is the game that started it all for me. So that's the nostalgia speaking.
So I remember this game coming out. I remember playing this game. I think one of the first scenes is
the M1A1 carbine.
Are you being tortured in the first scene? In like a little hut somewhere. I'm pretty sure that's like
the guy smoking a cigar.
Yes. And like the dude gets stabbed. It's wild. Like it's a sweet opening scene.
Dude, the M1A1 carbine, you unlock it. Oh man.
You were in the Pacific.
My trigger finger back in the day. Woo!
Fun game. I think it took a graphical downgrade from Call of Duty 4. For me at least, that's how I felt about it. It was a return to World War II, so I was pumped about it at the time. Usually when I get a new game, it's just better than everything. Usually when I get a new game, I don't tend to go back and play the old game. So I think when I bought this game, I wasn't going back and playing Call of Duty 4. What's the point in my mind at that point? And again, this is, and I hate it. I hate the year cycle that these games have, because it doesn't give the game enough time to mature, I think, at least. And then you're splitting your player base when a new one comes out, but that's fine. It's not my favorite Call of Duty game. I definitely enjoyed the Modern Warfare stuff more after Call of Duty, 1. I know it's very near and dear to you. I did enjoy it. It was fun. The gunplay is like you said, between Infinity Ward and Treyarch, the gunplay is completely different. It's an entirely different game.
It was harder to shoot in Treyarch games.
Yeah, you can't. It 100% is harder to shoot, but like you said, if you know how to shoot, you're nigh impossible to kill. It's so you need to learn an entire new way. You can't just I was really good at Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like I was pretty good at it. Not PoNGa good, not professional good, but I held my own. I was usually at the top of the list when I played. Had a lot of fun doing it. This game, not so much. Like it's a much harder game to play. Grinding through your weapons. MP40 was my mainstay. I really enjoyed that gun. I'd probably give this. Oh man, I hate to do it. It's a B tier game. It's not low. I know you're giving it an S tier, so it would go an A. I just, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Treyarch. Growing up, playing these games, I was always an Infinity Ward stan, just because of how they construct their game, how they're, even down to their single player campaigns were just, I felt, better quality and better. So dude, that's where I'm going to leave that.
Castle, dome, courtyard. The one thing about multiplayer that was a little annoying is they had several maps with tanks in it. But if you were in a lobby of really bad people, you could just hop in a tank and not die the entire game. It was so much fun. The PTRS, dude, the sniper.
You were the person that made people not want to play this game. It sounds like rolling around the tank.
And it's funny because I already know Dan's gonna comment on it. These games, all these early Call of Duties, skill-based matchmaking wasn't a thing. If I was rolling in with my friends and we were good, we weren't gonna lose. And then randomly you'd play people that were just as good as you, and you'd stay in the lobby with them for 3 hours straight, going back and forth.
Yep.
That's the other thing I don't think it's talked about enough is when Call of Duty changed to breaking up the lobby in between each map, it ruined it. You used to be able to just stay in the same lobby map after map,
and you would hate someone for 3 hours. They would kill you and you would get legitimately pissed off, and then they would talk shit on you when the game was over through voice chat. That's the golden. You won't see it anymore. There's too much censorship. You can't they record you now, so people aren't going to say all the crazy stuff they used to say. But I'll give a short hot take. If you enjoy skill-based matchmaking, that means you're probably not good at video games. I'll just say it. Okay. What do you want to go with for your hot take?
No, I got another one.
Let's see. Oh man. Let's go Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Just the new one.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
So this is the one that came out in 2019.
Just before the pandemic hit. So lots and lots and lots of hours were put in this game by me. Mostly on, Battle Royale for Dansk and all that stuff. But I played a lot of Modern Warfare. Only played multiplayer to level up guns, so really wasn't trying to master all of that. Single player was all right. Again, I really didn't delve too much into that. It was pretty much just playing with the boys, getting on and sitting and playing for hours because there's nothing better to do. So I think this game will probably rank very high for a lot of people. And PoNGa just puked in his mouth a little bit. So I mean, like I said, it's the pandemic game. It didn't spawn their battle royale. There was one before this one, but this was their biggest.
Yeah, but this was Warzone, right?
Yeah, this was Warzone. So yeah, this wasn't Blackout.
Came out 5 months or something after release.
Yeah, it literally came out, I think, the month of
March.
The pandemic.
Yeah, it came out in March.
It came out the pandemic hit, in perfect timing. So Yeah, just played a lot of that. I think a lot of the world played a lot of it. Like I said, I think a lot of people ranked this high. Um, I
Casual
don't.
people rank this high.
Yeah, that's kind of me when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't rank it higher than Modern Warfare 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a B, just for the simple amount that I played a ton of time and put a ton of time in this and had a lot of fun time with my buds playing it.
Yeah, so for those people that don't know, Call of Duty competitive historically and currently is 4v4, which is very different than like public matches, right? Which would historically be 6v6. So this is one of the only competitive games ever that was actually 5v5 for competitive Call of Duty. And anyone that's ever watched competitive Call of Duty, 5v5 is just terrible. It's so hectic, and it's just you said it right. The pandemic came and it transitioned. So historically, like Call of Duty, they would play like league matches online, and they actually had a LAN league, and then they would have like tournaments periodically throughout the year. This was the first year that Call of Duty competitive went franchised. So like if anyone knows like the Overwatch League, or any of that, you'd have like city-based franchises. So like you would have to buy in for $25 million. And like, for example, there was a team like the Dallas Empire, or a lot of people know FaZe. Like FaZe was Atlanta FaZe, right? They still are. Optic Gaming was actually the Chicago Huntsmen, because they sold Optic for that short period of time. But so this was a very, very big change for competitive Call of Duty. Not only is it 5v5, but you also have franchise leagues where people are just throwing stupid money, because this was like during the esports hype, where everyone thought it was going to be like the next big money maker. Like all these billionaires, like the owner of the Rams owns a team, all this stuff. So like from the competitive perspective, it changed to everything being online. So it's funny, like the Call of Duty World Championships that happens once every year, the players that won were literally in their bedrooms. And like you just won like 6 figures each person, and you're in your house. It was just like not a good experience. And then like the game itself, this is another one of those Call of Duties where like you look at someone and like before you even click the trigger, like they're dead. Like they just instantly die. I think it was pretty fun. Like the movement was very, very fast in this game. And anyone that's like a hardcore player, like slide canceling really became like overpowered in this one. Yeah, so I don't know.
You were like running around like crack in this game at first.
Yeah. It's just like it just felt like a kind of less skillful Call of Duty. And who knows if that was because of the pandemic, like they couldn't do as much with like updates and all that kind of stuff. But this game was built for Warzone, which I'm not a huge fan of. It was the first one that was really built that way. And I think this is like also like the first Call of Duty where they made skill-based matchmaking. Like they turned that slider up way too high. And once again, like it's funny because like when people hear you say that, they think like you don't want to play good players, but like it's not that much fun when like I win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game, win a game. Like I want to win 3 in a row, then lose, right? Like it just yeah. So this game wasn't very high on the list for me. I probably put it in like C tier.
C tier?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said
Where did you rank it?
I said B. So not too far off.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like this game. I didn't play it as much as other Call of Duties, and
that'll be in between B and C. PoNGa.
Yeah, the competitive side of things was just a nightmare, in my opinion. So, yeah, it just like in competitive Call of Duty, like they used to play domination back in the day before Hardpoint was introduced, and like this game was like you played domination again, and it was like 5v5, and it was just kind of a mess. Oh wait, it's in between B and C. My bad.
Yes, you got it. All right, your pick.
All right. Man, do I want to do... I'm going to do Modern Warfare 3. I think this is the worst OG Call of Duty. And when I say OG, like anything before Black Ops 2. Like, so the golden age of COD, right? So like COD 4 to probably this game, this is probably my least favorite. I just think it was like a worse version of Modern Warfare 2, and a worse version of the original Modern Warfare as well. It was still like pretty fun, but it just felt like it just didn't hit the same.
I
And
skipped this game completely.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I went back and so it's a common thread here. I went back and played Black Ops when this game was
So
out.
I didn't even buy this. I just played Black
Yeah.
Ops.
So I used to go to like every midnight release, and my friend used to
Yeah.
sleep over every year on release, and we'd play all night. Or like, the games used to release on Tuesdays, right? So like I wouldn't go to school the next day, and if I did go to school, it was on no sleep, so I played all night. The back in the days of like the Mountain Dew special cans, like with Halo and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like the worst game of all time, but like it's like I just don't have fond memories of it. Like it just wasn't the same.
It's forgettable. There's a
And I
couple
think
games that
I think it's
forgettable
slapped.
after this.
I think it's slapped between two games that I rank very highly.
Excuse me.
I think it's probably on par with the Modern Warfare 2019. So I think it's probably C tier, because I don't think any of the Call of Duties are like absolutely like unplayable, like Y tier. And I also don't think this is really. It's not fair to put this in D tier. So I think C is good.
I mean, I think the only thing that came from this was like the Modern Warfare 3 Jeep that they were like trying to like give out and stuff to people. Like that was awesome. Like their like promotional advertising for this game was top notch.
Yeah.
But it didn't sell me. Like you said, like Black Ops was where it was at. Like that game was really, really good. I really enjoyed the original Black Ops. The campaign was fantastic.
We're not talking about the game yet.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So this game's forgettable for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the D tier.
I was gonna put it in D as well, but I didn't.
I think with the amount of Call of Duty games there are, you're bound to have turds, and there's a couple turds, especially within this. Like I'm looking at them right now. Like there's a few that like I have one Y tier I think in here too, if it's the game I'm thinking about. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick Black Ops. Let's just go there.
Okay. Oh, you said Black Ops?
Yes, sir. Great game. I played the hell out of this game. I loved the campaign. It was intriguing. If I'm not mistaken, zombies were introduced in this game. It just, I think this is like a quintessential Call of Duty leveling up a little bit. It started to grow up from its like roots. I think not mistaken, you got to play it. I think, zombies as Fidel Castro, JFK, McNamara, and I forget who the last guy was, but it was just like a crazy concept. Zombies are obviously a mainstay in the series now.
Oh, wait. I didn't mention World at War. Like they introduced zombies.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the talking points I completely forgot about. Like zombies was like it back then. Like
a horde mode. Yeah. And that was big in video gaming. Like Gears of War did it. Lots of games are doing like PvE versus PvP style stuff, which I'm always a big fan of. So yeah, this was just a fun game all around. The multiplayer was fun. I felt like they did it was another Treyarch game, but I felt like this was a better Treyarch game than World at War, in terms of ease of play and picking up and playing the game compared to World at War. I don't know, all around good game for me. Man, this came out, I think, before my daughter was born. So this was like 2009. This is a long ass time ago.
Wait, let me think. So COD 4 was 07. No, so this was COD 4 was 07, I think. World at War was 08.
Yeah, this is the 09.
So this was 2010.
Oh,
right?
10. So it came out the same year.
Right.
A year before my daughter was born. So she was born in 2011.
Wow.
So I played, this was pre-Daddy Beerski.
Yeah, 2010.
So I was really living a degenerate life still and playing tons of video games. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It gets a B from me.
Yeah, so I think like the zombies, I'll talk about that first because I just looked up the maps to remind myself which ones. I think the the zombies map that released with the game was Kino, which is probably like, it's definitely up there for like people's most favorite zombies map ever. And then it had like a Shino Numa, Call of the Dead, stuff like that. So just as a reminder for people, zombies was really fun in this. God, this is another S tier for me. So once again, love Treyarch games, the FAMAS, the Galil. Oh man.
I mean, it was cool that it was in the
it's
Cold
just
War
another
time. You're getting different weapons that you weren't used to getting.
It's another one of those games where like when I was better than people, like it was very hard to kill. Yeah, like you couldn't stop me. And like besides the FAMAS, like a lot of the guns were pretty hard to shoot. There was like pretty heavy recoil at range. But yeah, I mean, God, I played this game probably just as much as World at War. I actually made a second. So for the people that don't know, they used to have weekly, monthly, and all-time leaderboards. And the leaderboards weren't cumulative, right? So like they would go by score per minute. That's how they ranked the leaderboards. Obviously, you'd have like the all-time leaderboards, a bunch of hackers at the top, stuff like that. But I think you had to play like 10 games for the weekly, 25 for the monthly, and like I don't remember for the all-time how many games you had to play. But I made a second account, and in headquarters, played with some friends. I was number 4 in the world in the weekly leaderboard, and there was like 250. There was like 250,000 people that played that week. This was probably the Call of Duty I was best at. I used to play in tournaments, like legit headquarters tournaments. The one bad part about the tournaments is I don't know if people realize in this game, private match, you only had the attachments unlocked that were representative of your multiplayer level, so you didn't actually have everything unlocked. But yeah, I mean, this game, like, once again, like I'm just a Call of Duty or a Treyarch stan. Like all the Treyarch games are really high up on the list for me, and this one's just no different. I mean, I have countless hours. Like, I don't know. It just seems like I'm one of those people that really like the ability to outskill people, which isn't good for the casual person, right? But when you're really good, it makes it a lot of fun. And like when you play other really good players, like they can't like, I don't know, you could just like edge, like you just like edge them out a little bit, right? Like it makes it a little closer. But yeah, I mean, headquarters back in the day, man, was like the best game mode, and I don't care what anyone says. The competitive scene back in this day like wasn't huge. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with S tier.
Well, they also introduced Nuketown, which is a huge Call of Duty mainstay now, and this Call of Duty as well. I think it's had in
I mean the multiplayer maps like were some of the best maps ever made.
Yeah, they were very
what
good.
It was.
They flowed very well.
It had the traditional Call of Duty 3-lane maps.
Yes,
and that's what Treyarch was always. They're known for two things, right? Like one, they always introduce some new mechanic in the game that's different than any other Call of Duty, and two, at least from the competitive sense, they make the best maps. Like they just make the most sense. The spawn system is usually pretty good. Was Black Ops 1 firing range?
I'm not too sure.
Black Ops 1 firing range. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, firing range is like one of my favorite maps of all time. So not that long ago, they like kind of fixed playing the old games like on the new consoles. And I went back and was playing Black Ops like all day, every day. And it held up. It was hard to shoot. Like it was hard to control your recoil. And like I know like when you play the old games, it's like kind of emulated. So like the like response of your joysticks and stuff is probably a little off. So that might be why it's like that. But like the game was so much fun. We should play that.
Let's play it.
It's so much fun, dude.
I'm down to play anything. I have a little bit more free time moving forward this summer. So yeah, let's play some games, dude.
Yeah, I know there's just people screaming like, oh, this guy only likes dude.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to see it in the comments. Please, people.
Leave and I know I know my favorite Call of Duties are kind of not the most popular ones. I know that, but it's just like I've played them all more than anyone, I promise.
I think it's your pick.
Oh,
You there?
man. Yeah. I'm gonna do Black Ops 4. So this was the Call of Duty that introduced 5v5 for competitive Call of Duty. It was also the one that really introduced like the specialists. So, you know, you had like the what was it, like the gravity spikes or whatever,
Yeah.
where you'd basically like, yeah. And so like competitive Call of Duty was a mess. You were only allowed to have like one of each character. So like one guy had the war machine and grenades. So like he was the damage dealer. And then like you'd have like the grapple hook with the gravity spikes or whatever. The one thing that made this game, and the casual people probably don't understand this, this was a very fun game. I'll just start out by saying that. But from the competitive sense, like
You
when you
wall
play,
running shit in this game too, right?
I don't think so.
Which
I
one?
think that's Black Ops 3, right? That was the jetpack
Okay.
game.
Sing.
So Black Ops 4, like so with competitive Call of Duty, like there's this thing called like shouldering a corner where you like kind of just like peek the corner. Because like people are really good, right? So like if you turn the corner too wide, like you're dead. This game used to be able to just shoulder the corner, and this had like the stim shot in it, right? So you used to be able to regenerate your health instantly. And so people would just like spam peek the corner, and you could never kill anyone because this game had higher health. So it took more bullets to kill. Plus, you were instantly able to regenerate your health instantly. So like typically, like when you shoulder a corner and someone hits you with a few bullets, they're able to push you, right? And kind of come around that corner and kill you. This game, you couldn't push people because they would automatically be full health again. So it made it like this weird game where like people were just able to like buy time and like you could never push them, otherwise you would die. So from the competitive sense, that was kind of interesting. And like I said, the 5v5 part, but like the public matches in this game were like crazy amount of fun. I remember like the Maddox was a really fun gun. Oh, one last thing from the competitive side, like this was one of the only games where there was actually like a 3-gun meta. Typically there's like one assault rifle everyone uses, and then there's a submachine gun. And typically like old Call of Duty, you'd have one guy that was like the main AR. He would like hold the spawns and stuff. You'd have two submachine guns. And then that fourth guy was kind of a flex. So you'd run both guns in kind of whatever map. Like if it was more close range, they would use that gun. This game, there was just a player that only used the Maddox. It was like the flex gun. It was a do-it-all gun, which was pretty fun to use. But yeah, I think this game's probably like B tier for me.
Okay. So I played this game for quite a bit with my buddy. It's Green Poops. That's what he's showing. We got green shizzes in the house. I played it quite a bit with my buddy. I like the multiplayer. For like multiplayer games and not like BR games, I'm not a big fan of the abilities. I feel like for such a small maps, it really did. Like you said, they were crazy and overpowered. This was the first game to release a battle royale mode. It was Blackout. I remember playing that.
The best COD BR mode to date.
Oh, it was the best COD BR mode. It was hard to play. It wasn't easy. If you didn't know what you were doing and you were not with your partner, you were getting smoked. I didn't win many BRs here. Me and my buddy won a game. We didn't even fire one shot. We didn't kill anyone. And the only reason we lived is because we grapple hooked on top of a building and had gas masks and the people below us didn't. And you got a special, like there was an achievement for doing, it was called Pacifists, for not killing anyone and winning a game. So it was a fun game. A lot of different mechanics with the grapple hooks and all of that stuff. Sniper rifle. It was a good game. I won't go.
It was solid for sure.
B? I'd probably give it a C. It was just a solidly good game. I did play it a little more than some of the other ones just because of the BR mode. But like I said, that BR mode was like, talk about an adrenaline rush in the last like couple minutes of that. Like that felt like my heart was going to explode out of my chest sometimes, because you would just get yourself in a bad spot and die, and it sucked because that was a hard game, but it was very fun. Helicopters, like there was so many cool stuff with it. I really enjoyed that. That was the precursor to like what royales are now for Call of Duty. So yeah, solid C. All right, so it's my turn now. Oh man. All right, let's go to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I have nothing nice to say about this game. Why? I hate the Advanced Warfare shit in all the games during that time because that was the big thing. I didn't want any part of it. It was a skipper for me. I didn't play it, and I don't know why, and I'm giving it a why. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. Dude's got exoskeletons on right now. Like, it's just not for me. I don't know. Like, I guess because Battlefield 2042 or 2142 came out around the same time. So it was just the two, big companies having a dick measuring contest about who could put out the worst game, I guess. And this, I don't know. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, so I think when this game first came out, I didn't like it as much as I do now. So this game is way more fun if you have like a scuff controller or like an elite controller, because like having the bumper or the extra paddle on the back to like be able to dash and jump a little easier made it a lot more fun. I'm going to be a little biased here and say I like this game probably a lot more than you because my favorite Call of Duty team, Optic Gaming, made basically a God Squad in this game, and basically won everything besides the Call of Duty World Championships, or they won like most of the events this year. So it was a very, very fun viewing experience. But yeah, I think this is probably not the worst jetpack game. I think there's one that's a little worse, but yeah, I don't know if it's Y tier. It's probably like, because like, okay, so I'm going to go back, right? At this time, like boots on the ground Call of Duty, people were like complaining for something new. And so that's why like Battlefield and Call of Duty went and did this. I just think the problem with this game is Sledgehammer is just not a good developer. They're not good at making Call of Duties. Some of the worst Call of Duties ever made, in my opinion, are made by them. God, I'm kind of talking in circles, guys. I don't know where I want to rate it. I'd probably rate it like C tier for me.
Okay. So stick it in the D. That's fine. Like I said, it was just one of those games. Plus, like at this time, I really wasn't playing a lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that did not, like, I didn't play Battlefield 2142 either. Like it was not like, just didn't do it for me. Like I understand like wanting to try something new, but they obviously rectified that moving forward, but there was just one of those games that just I don't get. I don't know why. Didn't make sense to me.
All right, so
another one.
So this is the worst jetpack Call of Duty and maybe the worst Call of Duty ever made. So like from the competitive side of things, like everyone hated this game. You're basically shooting lasers out of your gun. It didn't feel like Call of Duty. I think that's the best way to put it. It felt like you were playing like a shooter that was like kind of smooth like a Call of Duty, but like was made by like some guy in his basement to like make his own kind of futuristic game. I think they also made a huge mistake by releasing, and I love when they do this stuff, but releasing the Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered with this game
at the same time. Yeah.
So you kind of split the player base up, and like people didn't really play this game.
I played the remastered. I didn't touch this game.
Yeah. This is a D tier game. This game's not good.
So I'm going to put it in Y again because
that's fine.
I'm
fine with that.
The futurists, like, leave the futuristic shooters to Halo. If it was Halo Infinite Warfare, I mean, it literally came out with Halo Infinite. Like, it happened. So, like, I don't know. Just stay in your lane, man. I think that's a big trap with some game developers. I know, like, the fans, they have to listen to fans and stuff. But when you're printing for all these years, stay in your lane. Just change some mechanics up. Make a good map. Put the R&D and the stuff like that. Not letting, people in the back room sit around a freaking chalkboard and go, oh, well, what do people want to do? Like, but you can just like watch the progression, and it's cyclical with everything. Like it's even with movies, like you'll put one movie out, Tombstone came out, Wyatt Earp came out right after it, like stuff like that happens. So like one developer makes a shitty game, it seems like all the other developers are like, oh, we got to match what they're doing right now and make that game. And it's just a shame, because it's a shame when you're seeing like even what this tier list looks like right now, like you have a couple really good games and then there's a lot of kind of trash, unfortunately. And that, again, I'm going to say it and I'm going to keep saying it throughout this, that 1 year development cycle is bad. It's good for bottom line. It's bad for players.
Well,
it's
bad really like back in the day was 2 years, right? Because you have the multiple studios, right? So,
but there was a Call of Duty game coming out every year for a couple of years, was there not?
There's a Call of Duty every year, but there's multiple developers, right? So
like
a 2 year development cycle.
Yeah, you get the, but I'm still saying, like from Activision, you're getting
a
game every year. It's not the same developer, like, so especially like you said, Sledgehammer Games, but they also did Ghosts, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, that's Infinity Ward.
That's Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. They became crappy too, because I saw. Yeah, I don't know. That's. I'm gonna keep
the one thing. The one thing I didn't mention about the Jetpack games, it introduced Uplink, which was like the most fun competitive mode to watch. So what those people don't know, like Uplink, you basically had a ball and you were able to like pass it, and then you were able to throw the ball in for 1 point, or you were able to jump the ball through the uplink. It would like float in the air for 2 points. So you were able to do like all these crazy wall runs, throw the balls over the buildings and all that kind of stuff. And like you were able to intercept the ball. So like someone could throw it and the other team could jump in front of the ball before it hits like the goal. So it was like a really fun experience to watch from the competitive side of things as well. I didn't mention that earlier, but
no one wants to play Call of Duty Rocket League, dude.
Listen,
that's what anyone
that knows competitive Call of Duty will agree that Uplink's probably the best mode ever made. So.
I don't know, and I'm ignorant to it, so I'm gonna say what I just said. No one wants to play Call of Duty.
All right, let's just get it done. So this is the best jetpack Call of Duty. So it was like there was jetpacks, right? Like the advanced movement, but it was like kind of dumbed down. It was a lot slower. Like with Advanced Warfare, you were able to like dash very quickly. This game, you kind of just like hovered.
Dude, like wall running, it felt very much more like natural in this game.
Yeah, it felt like Call of Duty. It felt like an advanced Call of Duty rather than its own separate entity, like Advanced Warfare or Infinite Warfare.
Absolutely.
Like when you were wall running and stuff, like it was hard to hit shots.
That was fun though. Wall running and shooting was cool. This was a good Call of Duty.
Yeah, I like this one. It's probably, I like it better than Black Ops 4, but less than Black Ops 2 and the original Black Ops. I think this is probably like between B and A for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a B, not between. I'll give it a B. So
I'll just put it here. I'll put it in between the two. It's close enough.
It's close enough. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. Like you said, it wasn't rammed out. Like I think some of these games when they come out with the new mechanics kind of force feed you them. So you're like forced to like them and forced to use them. You didn't have to use all that stuff to play this game. Like there were certain sections of multiplayer maps where like the wall was rounded out in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, why is there a wall there? Obviously you want me to run down that. And like, you wouldn't run down that, but it was fun. Like
this game had like the specialists too, though. I think
there were
like the Tempest, the Scythe, like. So, I mean, it did have its problems, but it was pretty fun.
It was a fun game. I remember. I wish I had a better memory of maps, like names of maps, because I can picture a map in my head right now, but I just can't tell you the name of it. But it was a fun map to play. This was a good Call of Duty. I actually played way more of these than I thought. Now that we're going through all these,
yeah.
All right,
your turn.
Let's do Modern Warfare 3. It's at this point, these last couple of games that have come out, especially since Call of Duty has kind of gone to this whole, like when you boot up like Call of Duty, it's like Call of Duty HQ now. It's all the same game, essentially. These are just expansion packs in my mind. These past couple of games have been expansion packs on top of the main
Dude,
game.
this game couldn't even have original maps when it released. It basically remastered Modern Warfare 2 maps, right?
Yeah, it's just
Like,
it's terrible. It's not the direction you want to see Call of Duty going. That's why I'm glad like games like X Defiant are out by smaller developers. I mean, and I'm not going to say smaller developers, like it's Ubisoft or not developers. I can't even think of the name. But it's nice having games like that where you can. It's a little different experience. It's not the same thing. They're focused on one thing that's awesome. I just don't understand why they keep releasing something every other year for the Modern Warfare stuff. That's just the same thing over and over again. It's felt the same since Modern Warfare came out. You get a new campaign, just release a campaign. Just release a campaign, keep the same people on the multiplayer. It's what they're doing now. Like there's one developer that has Battle Royale. That's it. They only mess with that now. And just call it what it is. Like you're getting $70 for a game that's a turd. And it's not good. People aren't happy with it. People aren't playing it like they used to. I don't know. I feel like they're beating the Modern Warfare name to death now. Like we need to transfer over into something like they're beating Black Ops to death. Black Ops 6 now. Like let's think of something else to go to. Like we can fix it by doing that. Like please, for the love of God. So I don't know. This is gonna get like
but at least like
Black
Ops like has a different name. Like
there's
2 Modern Warfare 3s. There's 2 Modern Warfare 2s. There's 2 Modern Warfares. Like what are we doing here?
Well, it's just them playing off nostalgia. They're trying to capture our audience, my age's audience. Like that's what it is. Like 30 to 45-year-old males are a huge part of video game culture. Like we grew up with this stuff. They don't want to lose us. Like you lose, like it's we are like the originals, and we're still young enough to care and want to play this shit. And now with everything that's going on, it's super competitive. You got YouTube and Twitch and freaking everything else. It's so I don't know. D tier. I'm ranting and raving a little bit. I'm actually aggravated about it. This list has actually aggravated the shit out of me, everyone. Like I'm so tired of these companies just force feeding us the same crap over and over again and then expecting us to be happy about it.
Yeah, so it's like, oh man, I'm trying to remember, where did I put the Modern Warfare 2019?
Where is it ranked here? Oh,
it's right here.
So you gave it a C. I gave it a B.
I think I like this game better than that. So
that's hysterical.
I think
but again, you know the competitive scene more. Like I'm just saying, I'm just filthy casual here.
Competitively, like a lot of the maps that are played like are maps from back in the day, and like they're just not made for the game modes now. So I think this is better than the Modern Warfare 2, like the newer Modern Warfare 2, and it's probably like on par with the Modern Warfare. If I were to redo this list, I'd probably put Modern Warfare a little lower, but
put it lower, baby.
I don't know. I think all the Modern Warfares are like D tier.
That's it. Put it there.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not good.
And dude, how old is Price now? The dude's got to be 1,000,000 years old. He's been around since World War II, and he hasn't aged a day. Like, what is going on?
All right, so we need some heat up in here. We're gonna go with Black Ops 2. So if you ask any competitive person, this is probably the GOAT competitive game. This was the introduction of Hardpoint, which for those people that don't know, Hardpoint is so a lot of times you have a 5-map series. Hardpoint's 1 in 4, and it's been that way besides Ghosts since this game came out. So it added Hardpoint, which I think probably is like the biggest addition in Call of Duty history. I mean, you can make like the argument Search and Destroy, but Search and Destroy predates Hardpoint, right? So I'm saying just addition. It's like, this game competitively, Hardpoint, it introduced the idea of like anchoring spawns, right? So like typically you would have domination where you obviously just spawn on your home flag, right? But with Hardpoint, you know, it rotates around the map. There was a player that specifically had to play for spawns that were advantageous for that next hardpoint. So you had to rotate as a team. It made like certain gunfights like super important, right? Because like if the guy anchoring the spawn dies, then you start spawning out and all that kind of stuff. I think from like the pub perspective, it was like probably one of the most fun games ever. I don't think I'd put it on like S tier with Black Ops and World at War. It's probably somewhere around like in between A and S, just like a little bit of a step down in my opinion. But I mean, when you think of the maps like Hijacked and all these kind of maps, like Raid, which is like one of the most iconic competitive maps that was ever made, and is brought back, like it was brought back in Cold War. Yeah, this game was just a whole lot of fun. Like the kill streaks, the swarm kill streak, the dogs. Like you were able to get dogs, I think, in this game, right? Or was that number one? That was number one, right?
Yeah, but I think
Was it in both of them?
It was in both of them.
Yeah.
That was an insane kill streak.
Yeah, this was just a super fun game, but I think just a little like the MSMC, PDW, man. The M8A1 4 burst assault rifle. Yeah, I think this is like in between A and S for me.
Right on.
So just a little bit of a step down from World at War and Black Ops 1.
So this kind of just melds in with Black Ops 1 for me. I think they were very similar. Obviously not in the competitive scene. I would give it probably I'm going to give it a B. You know, I kind of, it followed it. I think Black Ops 1 was a better game just because it was new and exciting. I was like, oh man, like look at this. This is awesome. And then again, now we're at Call of Duty 6, Black Ops 6. So this really beat these games to death. Let's go Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4.
I kind of put this one like a little higher.
Just a little higher.
Yeah. Which one?
Modern Warfare 4, or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Man, I remember this game came out.
Is there a more iconic Prestige logo than the gold cross?
Nope. I mean, this game was awesome. Obviously, I don't think it was good as Modern Warfare 2 in terms of what they did with that game. But they did exactly what they needed to recapture the market. They broke out of World War II. They did it before EA did it with Battlefield. It was awesome. It was nice running around with an M4, M16, all the modern weapons. It was just fun. The maps were all different. It became more of like an urban environment. Storyline was very good. I think this is where you end up in Ukraine in this one, in Pripyat by Chernobyl. Yeah, I think this is the game where you have that sniper map where you snipe them like super far away, shoot this dude's arm off. It was just a cool game. Price again, magically from World War II to Modern Warfare 4 is there. He's awesome. This game gets a solid B for me. It's a good game.
Yeah, so this is funny because like this is going to be the one game where people's nostalgia is going to put it in like S or A tier, just because like this is probably what got them into the series if you're like around our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played the multiplayer a decent bit, but I didn't really like get to like no-lifing multiplayer until World at War. So like I can't necessarily put it on S tier with that, but this is probably my favorite Infinity Ward title. It's either probably between this and Modern Warfare 2. I think this is like I don't know, I'm kind of around that B or A range. You put it in what, B?
I put it in B, yeah.
I think for simplicity, I'll just put it in A so we could kind of put it in between the two. But
and I think it deserves to be there. Like,
yeah,
this is an iconic game.
This is the game that changed Call of Duty. Like, this is what made it kind of blow up a little bit.
And I remember, like, when did Call of Duty 4 came out? Like at
2007.
2007. So I was a year removed from high school. Like, so this was,
God, you old.
Yeah, this is college, first year of college, but like all these new people you meet and you figure out that they all play video games and stuff. And like, this is what you would do. Like, played a lot of this and it was a fun game and I enjoyed very much. And again, now I'm like starting to remember maps in the games I think there was a game where there was a downed helicopter. It was almost like a Black Hawk Down map in this. Downed helicopter in the middle of like a.
Was that?
It was like such a good. There were so many cool little spots to peek out of. That
was what I think that was what called what Crash.
Yeah, Crash.
There was Backlot, Ambush.
Yeah, there was so many great maps in this.
You were able to they had like the old school mode, I think it was called, and you were able to jump higher, and there was like all these places you could jump and get like on top of the buildings in the map. So like these old Call of Duties, like if you play the new ones and you go like out of the map, kind of, it like has a countdown and kills you. These older games didn't have that. You used to be able to get under the map of like Backlot and like all this sort of stuff. So it was like super fun. Like even if you were just running around in like private match, and then with COD 4, it was super big. They had like the Michael Myers mode. I don't know if you ever played that, where like you'd have people running around with a knife trying to like hunt you down.
Yep.
Yeah, this this was just a super fun game. It's I
just think it's almost it's 17 years old now.
Yeah, I mean
that's freaking wild. Like where does the time that actually like doing these tier lists have really, since this podcast, like specifically since we started doing this, I've been feeling my age, like, because some of this stuff, like, think 17 years, like
I was in middle school. I was in middle school,
long ass time ago. Yeah, man. So that's why you were such a beast at World at War, because you were like, dude, 17, I used to have 18 years old in high school with all the time in the world after sports.
I used to have one of those big tube TVs in my room.
Hell yeah.
With a chair right in front of the TV, and yeah, it was not good for my health. Probably. I played baseball, and when I wasn't playing baseball, it was like in the summer, like all these like World at War or whatever. We'd go to the pool, get kicked out of the pool probably for chaining down the slides. They would call our parents. My parents didn't care, and so then we would go home and just play Call of Duty like all night, and that was just what we did every single day of our lives in the summer. And it was a good time. It was a much simpler time for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Way simpler.
All right. Let's speed through a couple of these. So Call of Duty 2, I don't even remember playing. Being honest.
This wasn't I don't remember playing it either. Again, I think around this time Halo came out, all that stuff started coming out. So I kind of got away from PC gaming, because this was just a PC title when it first came out. And started like playing like Halo exclusively. So again, another World War II title. When you were playing these games, you're mostly playing them for the single player experience at this time. Multiplayer was still a very new, like, niche thing that was coming out. So I'd say just stick it in D. I don't know much about it. I can't say it didn't revolutionize Call of Duty. It was
if I remember correctly, like people like it better than Call of Duty 3. But like we didn't really play it all that much, so I'm not gonna put it any higher, because like it's not better than Modern Warfare 3 in my eyes. So
let's go World War II.
Okay.
Not a bad game. Trying to get back to their roots a little bit. Not
the
a great
boots on
game.
The ground return. This was right after the jetpacks were done.
Yeah. Like I said, going back to their roots, I think it's hard. It's going to be hard moving forward to do a good Call of Duty or a good World War II game. I think that era has been really beat down. And I'm going to say the same with Vanguard. Very much similar, just beat down. Really.
So I need to cut you off. I hate to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Anyone that played this game a lot, it was like depressing playing. Everything was gray or brown. Like there's a way of doing World War II. But like you have to make it a little more colorful. Like it was legitimately depressing playing this game. Everything was just brown or gray. So if you played it a lot, you were just looking at brown and gray, which is super depressing.
Well, this was the Battlefield 5. This is when Battlefield 5 came out, and that was very World War II. Call of Duty went back to World War II. Again, these two companies fight each other. Battlefield 5, far superior game. Definitely liked it way more than this game. But yeah, this game probably get a C from me.
Yeah, I'm probably around C as well. So from the competitive sense, this was kind of when, they went back to boots on the ground. Everyone was crying for boots on the ground to come back. And then I think
they got
if I'm not mistaken, Sledgehammer made that game. So that's probably why I didn't like it as much. But you had the from the competitive, it was the PPSH, which was the good gun, the good submachine gun, which was pretty fun to use. But it's also kind of salty. So that was I mentioned before, my favorite Call of Duty team kind of had a God Squad through all the jetpack games, and then they just won the World Championships coming off of Infinite Warfare, and then they went into World War II and broke up in that game. So it was kind of a salty time for me, and then ended up taking like top 32 at the World Championships that year. So not a fun time to be an Optic Gaming fan. But it was a fun game. They had, do you remember like what was that area called, like in between maps where you're able to like run around? You know what I'm talking about? Like it was like
it wasn't headquarters.
It was headquarters, I think.
Well, yeah, and it was the headquarters.
You'd be able to run up, and like they had the firing range there, and like
I said that was cool stuff. Yeah, like a little immersive.
Like one-on-one people, right? I think.
Yeah, that was
pretty cool.
Just nothing crazy, and again, back to World War II. It's just World War II again. I mean, there's so many other conflicts in history you get hit at. Yeah. This game, to be honest, I didn't play much of.
All right, so I'll back up again. Modern Warfare 2019 is when competitive Call of Duty went to franchising. This, in my opinion, to this day, is the best game since that time. So from 2019 to current day. So in traditional Black Ops fashion, it takes more bullets to kill someone in this game. It still had slide canceling, but it was kind of like a slower version of it. So the game was a little slower. And I think like the maps traditionally, like with a Black Ops game, was super fun compared to like the more recent Modern Warfare games.
This game destroyed Warzone too. Absolutely eviscerated it.
Yeah, good. I think it actually had a pretty fun zombies mode as well, which, overarching like Infinity Ward, like what are you doing not having a real zombies mode? Like the most recent one's like a Warzone map. Like what are we doing here? I think it's like a B tier. It's just a really solid Call of Duty. It was fun public matches, and then competitively is probably the best game in like the past 6 years.
All right, I'll give it a B with you. I didn't play any of the multiplayer. Yeah, I just know that it jacked up. It absolutely jacked up Warzone.
Isn't it kind of funny that the multiplayer games that are most liked are the ones that didn't have Warzone?
Yeah, well, I had Warzone. It just
but like didn't prioritize it, right?
Like, didn't prioritize. It just so when these new games come out with Warzone, the entire meta changes because they add all these new weapons that are so much better. Like you go pick up a weapon that has no attachments and smoke the weapon you have with 6 attachments or 5 attachments on it just because it's the new and they want you to use those guns. It's just
okay. Ridiculous. Anyone that's still watching at this point, I want you to comment below saying, Beerski, please give something an S tier for once in your life. Thank you.
I've given stuff.
I just want to put it out there that I've put 3 games in S tier.
You're an S tier. I don't even want to say the last word in that sentence. Like, stop giving S tiers.
First of all, don't say that on this podcast. I don't want to be canceled. 2, 3 games out of 20 is not a lot of S tier.
That's a lot of S tier.
Okay, well, sorry that you just don't know. Okay, go ahead. Vanguard. Did you play this game?
Very little. It wasn't that great. I don't know.
All right, let me save you from having to talk. This game was more fun than like the more recent Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3s, but it wasn't as good as Cold War. So I'd probably put it like between B and C because it's just like a slight, it's just like slightly worse than those other games.
Another World War II game. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a D.
Damn, I didn't even probably play it. All right, let's just put it like in C or something. I don't know.
Perfect. And then Ghost, I definitely didn't play.
So Ghost was the first title that transitioned from the 360 to the One, I think. So it had it on both systems, and I remember buying it twice. So it was like one of the first games I bought when I got the Xbox One. So it's not like the most loved title. This is coming off like the heels of like the really good Modern Warfare games. Modern Warfare 3, but like not the best game, but then like the really good Black Ops games that we rated pretty high. From like the competitive sense, they didn't have Hardpoint, which was kind of a fail on their end. It was domination. Once again, it was one of those games that was just very bland to look at. Actually, like from the competitive sense, they had a game mode called Blitz. I don't know if you remember Blitz, but it had like 2 points, one on each side of the map, and all you had to do is slide through the other team's point, and you would like flash back to your side of the map, and you'd score a point, which was a pretty unique game mode back in the day. Search and destroy in this game. I'm not a big search fan from like the competitive sense, but people love search and destroy in this game. Like the maps just like played really well for it. The one problem with this game is it always had one gun that just was way better than the rest from competitive. It had the Vector. There was legitimately 4 vectors on the map. And then it had the MTAR, which had 4, like each team only used that gun. And then like the AR for competitive was the Remington. But yeah, I'd probably put it in like C tier for me.
I'll follow what you just said there. Like I said, I didn't play that much. It kind of felt like another filler game.
It was absolutely a filler game.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. But it was it was one of the better filler games in my opinion.
It's just I feel like there's just far too many filler games for the amount of titles we went to. I don't know. Maybe I'll loosen my let me change my grading standards. Like CGC changed their grading standards, and now my 9.5s will be 10s. All right. So moving forward, if I'm going to give it an A, I'm just going to bump everything up.
So like I guess like the also, way I look. So like wait. So like yeah, when you were talking, like you're like bringing up Battlefield, like it like. The Black Ops games in World at War are S tier comparative to like all the games, right? Like all Call of Duties, right? So like,
right now looking at this, I would put Modern Warfare 2 in S tier for sure. I would put Call of Duty Black Ops in S tier for sure. So we can move them up. I'm okay with that. Like 100%.
Like this is definitely S tier. I think I put this one in A. So
and that's S tier as well. Like that was between A plus and S for me. So I was right there. Like. Now seeing like those are S tier above the other game for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so
that I agree with.
Yeah, so
maybe I need to be better at doing that, I guess, and just like ranking it against what everything else is, because just in the moment, like when you're talking about everything, so maybe we can just be free to maybe have a mulligan for each tier list.
And listen, we don't need a. I mean. It's really easy when you're looking at all the games on the list and saying, wait a second, how are these two on the same tier? Or how is this one below this one?
Yeah.
It also makes it very hard when you have 2 people rating it, right? Like if I rated this list, it would look very different because like if I rate a game in S tier and you rate it in B tier, like it makes it look skewed. So like I know Mason will probably comment or something saying something with the tier. How is this on the same tier? When you have 2 people, it averages out, right? Like,
yeah,
it's just how it
like
works.
I would also put Call of Duty 1 in S tier just for what it did for me. But okay, so that's our tier list, ladies and gentlemen. With an S.
So anyone that's watching, right? The top 3 games are Modern Warfare. Well, Black Ops 1 was the highest rated. Modern Warfare 2 was the second, and then World at War was the third. And then kind of like on the next tier of games between A and B, we had the first Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, and COD 4.
Right on. Good tier list.
And the lowest rated one was Infinite Warfare, which I think is very fitting.
learned a lot about Call of Duty today, for sure. Like this was
good.
Good,
see, this is the problem with Call of Duty is like the competitive stuff I could talk about. Like I try to summarize and it probably gets confusing, but for the people that don't really know anything about it, but I watch matches of competitive Call of Duty every weekend, so it's pretty big in my life.
All right. We're going to move on to our next segment, and that is going to be rabbit holes. It's been a while since we did rabbit holes, so I'm just going to recap everyone so we know what we're actually going to be rabbit holing about. I got the rabbit hole from PoNGa about doing one of the first 5 sets from Yu-Gi-Oh! Release sets. I chose Legends of the Blue-Eyed White Dragon. And I gave PoNGa the sealed ass 1998 Stitch cards to look at. So I'll go first here because PoNGa just carried this podcast for the past hour and 15 minutes with the Call of Duty stuff.
So I carry it every episode. It's
oh
okay.
Man, so Legends of Blue-Eyed White Dragon. It came out on March 8th, 2002. So what, about 3 years after Pokemon came out in the United States. It consisted of 126 cards. It's combined from Legends of Blue-Eyed White Dragon and Phantom God in the Japanese sets. So those two combined sets became Legend of Blue-Eyed White Dragon. Some of the main cards in the set that came out were the Exita. Let me just make sure I think it's Exita set line. Blue Eyes White Dragon, obviously. Dark Magician, which we all know, even people who aren't really big into Yu-Gi-Oh. Swords of Revealing Light, Dark Hole. My favorite from all of these that I looked up was the Pot of Greed. From the cards that are highly sought after for this set. I'm gonna pull it up on screen right now because it is a dope looking card. It kind of reminds me of
I was trying to figure out what you were I was trying to figure out what you were referring to. It's Exodia, right?
Oh, Exodia, that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Exodia.
Like,
not Exodar, yeah. Exodia. My eye looks like an R right there. Let's see. Present, share screen, Yu-Gi-Oh, share. So this is what this is the Pot of Greed card. I love some of these Yu-Gi-Oh arts. I went through all 5 of these sets. So I got a couple more that I'm going to go through over the next couple weeks. I'm pretty sure. But like cards like this, like that artwork is wild. Like I'm really big fan of that. Like I wish I had gotten into Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. For whatever reason, I didn't. I guess because I was, again, older than PoNGa, older than some of the people in this hobby by a couple years. So it would kind of take me out of that time frame for like being into trading cards and all that stuff. But like cards like that just really, they really bring it together for me. I'm going to pull another one up. Let's see. Everyone knows Dark Magician, but I'm going to pull it up anyway because it's one of the more iconic cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, just cool artwork, man. Like I really appreciate what they are, what they're about. So, yeah, I mean, that's Legends of Blue-Eyed White Dragon, man. Like there's just more. So I'm going to start kind of delving a little more into Yu-Gi-Oh. I know they're hard as hell to grade. They're hard as hell to do all that stuff with. But just knowledge and having fun with it. I know, shout out Pikachu, just through CGC and all that, did a whole bunch of stuff with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like test print cards and stuff. I know the Green Shiz is really huge in the Yu-Gi-Oh. He bought a huge collection a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago, maybe a year ago at this point, and graded some crazy price card. I know the Morphing Jar he talked about was like a huge card that he scored. So yeah, just really enjoyed looking at these. Gonna keep looking at Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Just excited about it.
The Dark Magician that's actually in Legend of Blue Eyes is a little different from that one. That's a different version of it.
Oh no!
I just wanted to throw it out there before people.
Thank you. I appreciate you for saying that. I don't know why that.
Yeah. So he's like facing the other direction. He looks very similar, just a little different. But there's so many. So the problem with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards is there's so many different versions of every single card that if you don't like.
No.
Yeah.
So, and this is why we go down rabbit holes. Yeah, I mean, there's just so Legends of Blue-Eyed White Dragon. Oh yeah, see, so it's not going to pull it up. I keep looking through it. All right. Well, that was my rabbit hole.
Yeah. So Yu-Gi-Oh, man, like I always say it. Like obviously, I do mostly Pokemon now, but Yu-Gi-Oh is like so much more nostalgic to me than Pokemon. Funny enough, I was a little like I'm younger than you, right? So like.
Right.
When Yu-Gi-Oh came out, I was like 8 years old, right? So like, 8 years old, you're still kind of into cards and stuff. So, yeah, the TV show, the card, like I still have a lot of my childhood Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they're just when you come over, like I'll show you them. They're just
I'm looking forward to it.
They are so cool. Like they just look so good. It's something about it you just can't explain. The OG Yu-Gi-Oh arts are just unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, just going through some of those, they look really well done. So now I'm gonna rectify that by looking at the actual cards from that set and trying to figure out which ones are the real ones, because I know it's been reprinted 1,000 times too.
Yeah, and then there was like there's different versions like in decks and stuff. So like there's like so many printings of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, um, Red Eyes Black Dragon. Like there's just so many different printings of them all. There's different promos, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot.
All right. So PoNGa is up next with the sealed ass 1998 Stitch cards. Do
Yeah,
you want
so
me
I'm
to
sharing.
add this to the stage?
Yeah, please. So funny enough, I was so a lot of these topics like we look into, right? And like we're not gonna like take 20 hours to dig deep and like find the most obscure fact about it, right? But the one thing I really found out about this set is there's probably some source out there if you looked long enough, but I was having a really hard time like locating like any like cold hard facts about it. Like there's not that many YouTube videos about it. There's not that many. I was hoping like something like E4 would have like a lot of times like this older stuff. E4 has like this thread that basically it has like long paragraphs that talk about this, like obscure sets like this. So the 1998 Bandai Sealed S Stitch set. It contains 12 cards. And you can see it right here in the paragraph that cards 1 through 4 actually peel off entirely. So they're full like sticker cards basically. And then the remaining ones all have smaller pictures that you could peel off. And I'll show those in a second. At typical like card ass or sealed ass cards that come out of vending machines. One source that I looked up, and I assume it's somewhat accurate. Each card actually costed 20 yen back in the day, which is basically nothing. I think like I don't know if it's the current conversion or back in the day, but it's like 14 cents. So you're able to get 5 of them for 100 yen. So basically like nothing. The fun fact about these cards is one, they're really super hard to grade because they're sticker cards, and two, like most people probably didn't keep them on the card as is and probably peeled them off because they are stickers. So finding them in really high condition or really good conditions pretty rare. And then what I wanted to do was just show the card. So this person on E4, Josh, posted all the pictures. So this is basically cards 1 through 12. So like I mentioned, cards 1 through 4 are kind of full stickers. So you'll see them here. That's the back. You have the Bulbasaur. You have that started scrolling super fast. You have the Squirtle, which is number 3. Super cool. Number 4, the Charmander with its leaf, kind of going back to a little throwback to the show a little bit.
Yep.
And then you get into 5, which is like the smaller sticker. So from my understanding, like each one of these Pikachus would peel off. So you kind of had multiple stickers. Super cute Pikachu's there. Look at him with his little sunglasses chilling there. You had the Togepi one, which back in the day I loved Togepi when I was younger. Not so much anymore, but being a Gen 2
Misty carrying around her, it was awesome.
Being a Gen 2 stand, like hatching Togepi was really cool back in the day. You kind of automatically get the egg when you first started.
Togepi spelled different with a Y too, which is hysterical.
You have the Oddish here, which it's Oddish. This best one card. Is so cool.
Best one.
Yeah, the Ditto one. I know you really like this one. You should find a way to pick this one up. It's really
I'm gonna try and pick all of these up. I do have one. Once you scroll over to it,
I'll get to it. This one's
I love
super
this
cute.
one too. Yeah.
The Caterpie and Pikachu kind of cuddling. And then this one's pretty cute as well. I mean, hey, we all like alt arts, right? Like having multiple Pokemon on one card is always better. This is super cool. They're all kind of like sitting around, which is really cool. And then I think this is the one you have, right?
So this is the one I picked this up at the Woodbridge Card Show in New Jersey. I purchased it as a 9.5 old label CGC. It's a pop one. It's now mine. It's actually at CGC right now, getting the label changed, reholder. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. The thing is obviously minty. It's a pretty looking card. I think they're very cool. So I'm really looking forward to like getting it back in hand and having it. There's almost no comps for any of it. So this is probably the most obscure thing that I own now in this hobby, which is pretty cool to me. This might be like a secret thing of mine where I might just try and CGC 10, or I don't know if I don't want to crack it and try and get a different grade from a different grading company. Let's say that, because I don't know how fickle they are. I've never held a raw one in my hands, but I mean, come on, like look at that artwork. It's just so cool. Like I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, so I did I looked at Macari Japan. So I didn't there's ways to search on these Japanese sites where you could get more results, like if you play around with how it's translated and stuff. I just did one quick search, and I only saw 2 listings for any of these cards, and they're not in good condition. So finding these cards in good condition, good luck. I mean, it's going to be super tough.
It's going to be tough, but
And this is number 12 here. This
yeah,
is
that's
the last
awesome.
one of the set.
So just very cool, I think.
But if I were to say my favorite, it's probably I think it might be the Ditto one. That one's pretty cool.
The Ditto one's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our rabbit hole. So
no, this one's probably my favorite. It's just the color.
So I love the top-down view with the Butterfree looking at the Pikachu and Caterpie in the top right corner. You can see it from his point of view. Like I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Super cool set though.
Yeah,
it's what you said. It's probably like the most niche set that there is.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start. I think this is gonna be my white whale. Is collecting this set and in a good grade. Like maybe fill some binders out with it. I don't know. Figure it out. But the cards aren't cheap. That's for sure. Or the stickers, whatever they are. All right. So for my rabbit hole for you next week, I want you to go down the nostalgia turnpike with a little cheatcc.com. I don't know how many people here know what cheatcc.com is, but before the internet became super crazy and had a lot of places for information, you had to go to like 1 or 2 sources to get your video game cheat codes and game guides and all that stuff. So this was the website you would go to. I'm gonna let PoNGa really delve deep into that for you next week.
Yeah, so mine for you, keep going down the Yu-Gi-Oh rabbit hole. So you kind of touched a little bit on Blue Eyes White Dragon now. Maybe pick another set, maybe some more cards from Blue Eyes, something like that. But I want you to get more loving towards Yu-Gi-Oh. So do something with one of those sets.
Well, I'm gonna go back and actually pull up the try and find all the right cards from Legends of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Actually, like look through set lists of those. I'll touch on those again because
so like underneath the picture of the card, like on the right hand side of the card, it'll have like an abbreviated name and it'll just be LOB. So if it has LOB, that's Legend of Blue Eyes.
All right, awesome. So I'll do that. I'll go through. I'll rectify that problem, and then we'll hit on. I think Metal Raiders is the next one. So I'll go over a little bit of Metal Raiders.
You got Magic Ruler, Spell Ruler. They had to get rid of. They had to change the name of Magic Ruler because of Magic.
Yep, they sure did. Yeah, it went from Magic Ruler to
Pharaoh's
Spell Ruler. Yeah, so there's some cool little things there. I looked over the first 5 sets, so I'll delve a little deeper into each of them, but it was definitely fun. All right, next segment, hot takes. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in this.
All right, before he starts, I do not condone what he's saying. The pillars of the hobby, please do not put me in the same conversation as this man to my side. I don't want to be associated with this man. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Go ahead.
Tag rating is dead. You heard it here. Listen, between the whole Greenie debacle and Java Akuma, shout out Java. PoNGa was on his channel recently with Dan Catchmall Collectibles. Please go check out Java Akuma. He does
absolutely smoked.
He does great stuff. All of his videos are fun. He really shows a lot of the like seller side, how he goes about his business. He's very upfront and open about everything. He did do a submission to Tag. There were cards with dents in them that you could clearly see. There were cards with dents that got 10s again. That weren't pointed out after the fact and then taken back and then regraded 8s. I just have a problem with how Tag Rating's going about what they're doing, especially after watching Greenie's video today and seeing how he got a response from the owner of Tag saying how they're essentially appalled by their grading and how that failed and how they're always trying to upgrade it and a specific thing will help them. Well, someone else just did the same thing and you got the same results. So I don't know if there's something. I would never send my cards to Tag Rating. I don't think it's going to hold any premium in the future other than super niche, very expensive, illiquid cards. They're parading around that, Illustrator right now, the Pikachu Illustrator card with those 2 print lines to it, and still got a 955. It's still a gem in 10. So that's just me. That's how I feel about it. I've talked to a few people about it. I wouldn't send my cards to tag until there's a huge change in what's going on there. I don't think the grading is what they say it is, and it's showing.
Yeah, I mean, you have like the people have like conspiracy theories about that company, and then I mean, ultimately, right? Like, if they ever figure it out, like, is their goal to just get bought by PSA with like their technology? Because like
it could be, but there's also a million other conspiracy theories out there.
If you're collectors, right? Like, you have enough money to probably just, if they start making any impact on your market share, like, just buy them.
Just buy them. And PSA's been buying people up left, right, and crazy.
So or like some other company will just buy them, right? I don't know. I like my cards being graded by a human being.
If there's a few,
I'd rather a human make an error on my card than software that is supposed to be
perfect.
Well, I wouldn't say perfect, but people throw in the term AI very loosely in all places. I don't think people actually know what that means. But in theory, like, it should be getting better with more cards. But is it?
It should self-learn.
When did Greeny first grade that? I mean, it's been a while, right? Like, since he graded, and like they're still grading cards with dents,
like pretty big dent. Like the dents are it's not like tiny little dent. They're noticeable. And the Greeny damaged some cards purposely. They picked everything up. I also think they scrutinized his. I mean, they know it came from him. I don't think it's impartial. Like, they scrutinized his. They're definitely going to scrutinize his cards. They also gave him. I mean, he deserved it. He got a Charizard 10 tag base set, awesome. But like some of those cards, like he didn't say. He said he was going to damage them beforehand. He said it on other lives that the cards were damaged, but didn't show what the damage was until today. I think they probably scrutinized the green poop, the green shiz. There he is. I definitely think they were scrutinized a little bit more. I don't know everything. This is my opinion. I wouldn't grade my cards with tag.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really I don't really care for much of the content around grading anymore, but from what I've been told and like what I saw of Greeny, like them like messaging people on Instagram if they like said anything like towards the negative side of things, like it just
reached out to Oak because he said something about a lawyer. There was a lot going on.
It's super weird. Like,
yeah,
at some point, like, dude, in your back room, like, you got to be a little more professional. Like, people are going to have. There's one thing, like, someone completely bashing your product, but like giving you constructive criticism, like whatever Oak said, I'm sure like wasn't.
It was said tongue in cheek too. It's not going to actually happen. Like, they were legitimately scared because this will submarine their entire model.
But it's like Oak is like probably like the nicest person. So like, it's just like I'm done talking about it. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. We can leave it there. I don't want to cause any problem. I'm not trying to step on anyone's shoes. I'm not trying to do any of that. This is just my opinion. I do feel like there's an issue there though that needs to be rectified, or we need to like start changing some of the wordage in our website and how our stuff is processed is all. And now you're
you also have the problem with the name of the company. Like, how do you even search for those cards on eBay? Like, because tag teams are just going to come up. So have fun with that. So my hot take, and it's really an issue you have. So book adaptations to TV shows, to movies, like video game adaptations to like the big screen or whatever. I feel like they shouldn't necessarily have to be like the exact same, right? So I'm trying to think of a good way to frame it without giving spoilers for the most recent one, but people that feel like they get like upset that they change like very small things about the story.
Small?
Yes, very small. So my opinion on it is like the general basis of the story should stay the same, right? Like if one person is the king, they shouldn't put like, I don't know, 3 families over. That
We're
should not
talking
be the
about
case.
House of the Dragon, by the way.
Yeah. So the general basis of the story should stay the same. But like, I don't think it needs to be the exact same like details that lead to that point, right? So like when you bring stuff to TV, some things are going to be more dramatized than the book, and so other things are going to be less dramatized, and that's just how it goes with like the flow of the show. Obviously, if you're a big book person or you're into the books, you're going to feel a little bit different. And I was actually talking to my wife about this last night because I was like trying to think about how I wanted to frame it. Because like I do think there's importance of like following the story to a point. Like I said, like the main story, but like the way books are, especially if books come out first, they're so descriptive because they have to be, right? Like you have the reader or listener of the audiobook has to be able to visualize like what the people look like what they're eating, like how they feel in certain situations. And so I feel like when it gets transitioned to like a show and you have this picture in your head of what it's supposed to look like or how it's supposed to go down, and it's not exactly up to par, that like people get like super upset about it. And I just like don't agree with that. Like I think of it, and my wife frames it this way, is like it's almost like an alternate universe, right? Like it's the same general premise, but like it's just kind of like an alternate universe where things are just like a little different. And I'll go I don't want to do the spoiler alert, but so blinking red lights, spoiler alert, House of Dragon, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. In episode 1, right? Like you said the books, let's just say the king has 2 sons in the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the show, he has a son and a daughter. And we talked about this in depth, right? Like in the book, like they had to choose between the older or the younger son to kill, right?
Yeah.
But like in the book, like the king still has an heir to the throne, right? So like one of them dies, but he still has an heir, right? In the show, it's between a son and a daughter. So which one are the people going to want to kill? They're going to want to kill the son. Now he has no heir. Way more drama, right? Like way bigger of a deal. And so like minor details like that, I'm not as concerned that they change, right? Because like it's TV, it's got to be a bigger deal. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, he has no heir to the throne. Like what this is crazy. But if he had another son, I would have been like, oh, this means nothing to me. Everyone dies.
Amon will just be, or
yeah,
Amon's
but you know what I mean. Like,
I get you. It's just
in
the way
the family's mind. Like, if the family doesn't care, right? But like the actual king wants it to stay in his blood, right? Like just his family.
So Game of Thrones did a good job.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Not pulling punches. I felt like they pulled some punches here. It was much more horrific in the book. People were likening this scene to the Red Wedding. I also feel like everything was very rushed that episode. I felt like everything was very rushed the second episode. Spoiler alert. The battle between Eric and Eric was, it's not so much a battle in the books, but there's different like ways it could have happened. The way they did it was good. It just, the way they got to it was too quick. I feel like they're really rushing through a lot of stuff to get the meat and potatoes of the season because it's slow now. It's not going to be slow shortly. Like shit really does start hitting the fan.
Yeah.
That's my only problem with it. I know we didn't touch on House of the Dragons this week very much. I think we might touch on them a little bit more, maybe after they've matured a little bit, maybe give it like 2 or 3 weeks to settle in so we don't hit tons of spoilers. I just wasn't happy with the way they did that. I was very much looking forward to that scene. I was looking for, there's so many ways in my mind that they could have shot that scene, just showing Helena's face while all this was going on.
But this is exactly what I'm talking about. You have these opinions because you read the book, right?
Don't hate me because I read, bro.
No, but that's the point, right? Like, I didn't read the book, and I thought the episode was great, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's an alternate universe in my mind, right? And so like,
and that's really fair enough.
That's really where the hot take comes from. I'm not a big reader, so like I'm obviously going to be more adept to having that kind of opinion. So
yeah, and your opinion is not wrong.
That's to say, like, there's nothing wrong with liking the book, right? It just,
I mean, I watched Game of Thrones before I ever read the books. I love the
Yeah.
books more than I love the show, but the shows did everything really well, not knowing what the hell is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I give it to them. Then like everyone else that read the books, just a little bit disappointed at how things are going right now, but that's fine. We won't touch too much on it. Again, I have a big long diatribe about this the next time we talk about House of the Dragons. I'll let it maybe mellow out for a few weeks, but we'll figure it out. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our last segment for tonight, and the one that I'm always much better than PoNGa at, is Who's That Pokemon? Let me get this bad boy up. We're going to add it to the stage.
I don't know. In 9 episodes, I think I've only gotten a handful wrong. Now that I said that, I'm probably going to get them all wrong.
I hope you get every single one wrong now. Stop screen, present, share screen. Who's that Pokemon? Share. And there you go.
Is it me?
That, of course it's you, because I have no idea what Pokemon that is.
Let me make sure I'm not going to confuse this. Oh, man. Okay, so there's 2 that I'm kind of in between. Oh, man. Is it the Shield one or is it Aaron? Oh, they look so similar.
Do, 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 do.
Hold on. Give me like 20 seconds.
Well, 20 seconds.
Is it Bastildon, right? Something like that.
We're gonna click it. It's
Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Bastildon's the evolution, isn't it?
Oh, what in God's name is this?
Bastildon's the evolution, I think.
Is this a chicken?
Oh God, I know this one.
I have no idea. What is it, PoNGa? What is this abomination?
I can't think of its name.
I'm gonna click it. I don't know. Oh, Volibee.
Volibee, yeah.
Oof. Oh,
Abra.
Abra. I got it before you.
Mine.
I'm so much better.
Mine.
I'm so much. Oh, Sudowoodo. I love them.
Shout out to Z&G.
Yeah, shout out to UAP for sending me that awesome card. I got it right here. I'm just gonna show it again. I love it.
Yeah, it's fire. Is this a Sfeel?
Sure is. Who comes up with these names? Oh no. I don't know, PoNGa. Dude, I'm so bad at this.
Isn't it like Pachirichu or something like that?
It sure is. PoNGa's good at this. I'm terrible.
I know this one. Chimecho, right?
It was my go, but you can go. That's fine.
No, it was mine. Yours was the last one. What do you mean?
I'm so good.
You're a fake fan. You're just like that catch 'em all collectibles guy.
This is yours.
Oh man. This is Oh man.
Oh, you gotta pick, my man.
Stoutland?
Herdier.
Stoutland's the
probably evolved form.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Shinx.
Shinx.
Oh,
Luxio.
Oh, see? Terrible. All right, last 2.
Oh my god, this is a turtle, isn't it? That blue turtle.
Righteous.
I'm not gonna know. I think it is. I'm not gonna know this one.
It is.
Yeah.
And for the last one. Oh man, I don't know. This is so hard. I need 20 seconds for this. Let me think. Is it Mr. Mime?
Yeah.
I'm so good at this.
So my problem this week is I kept guessing the evolved form for some reason.
It's all right. Excuses. We all have them. It's okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 9 of the Box Nostalgic Podcast. Thank you all for being here. This is premiering at 1:00 on Thursday. Really appreciate everyone taking time out of their work day or whatever they're doing to watch. Please leave comments below, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that stuff. We really enjoy doing this for you guys. I look forward to this every other week. So thanks a lot, everyone. How about you, PoNGa? Any last words?
No, you said it all, man.
All right.
Nothing left to say. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a
My
good
back
night.
hurts. My back hurts from carrying.
Oh man, he did carry this episode. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. Peace.